We've just got an update from MEA sources, update from Tianjin, that the bilateral meeting between Prime Minister Modi and President Xi Jinping has just begun. It has just begun. We can do breaking graphics on the side of this. The bilateral meeting between President Xi Jinping of China and Prime Minister Modi has just begun. This is the update that's coming from Tianjin by way of MEA sources. We haven't got the first pictures yet, but we can now officially confirm to you by way of MEA sources that the bilateral meeting between Prime Minister Modi and President Xi Jinping of China has just begun. It was expected to go on for 40 minutes. Let's see how long it goes on. You also have to account for interpreters because it takes just the same amount of time for the interpretation to begin as well. So on the right side, we have the breaking graphics. The meeting between Prime Minister Modi and President Xi Jinping of China, the bilateral meeting, has just begun. Rahul, take it away. What more details? All right, you have seen the pictures, Rahul, so go ahead. Yes.
Center. Yes, and the pictures. Yeah, there's a big screen here at the media center which is flashing those pictures. President Xi Jinping is sitting at the head of a long table, and you have the Prime Minister of India. We're going to try and bring that, it's in the distance really. Those are the first pictures of that meeting. You can see perhaps that screen. It's been sort of obstructed by a gentleman who's standing there, but no doubt you're going to get that feed very shortly. In just a few moments, perhaps it's going to be released very soon to ANI and the other media. So you're going to get that very, very shortly, but we're beginning to see the glimpses of that meeting. At this moment, we're seeing the leaders seated, so perhaps I missed the initial handshake or maybe even the hug, so I don't quite know if that really did take place, but characteristically, we've seen warm embraces between the two leaders, and I think President Xi would have actually accorded quite a warm welcome to the Prime Minister. Remember, in the Chinese media, this particular meeting has been talked up. Remember, India is a democracy at the end of the day, and the SCO summit includes a large number of countries that are not functional democracies. They might have democratic pretensions, but they're not. So to enhance the credibility of the SCO, the Prime Minister's presence is extremely important. So we're going to try and get you those pictures if we can in advance. There's also a screen behind me. I'm not seeing them there, but fundamentally I think we're just going to have a broadcast. In fact, I was just speaking to the ANI journalist who's signaling to me that in the next 5 or 6 minutes they're going to have some visuals emerging from that meeting. 20 minutes, Zaka, and 20 minutes is not a very long time. We're actually on a steady tripod, so it becomes a little difficult to move this very quickly and go across to that screen. The screen itself is about 100 and 120 meters from where I am, so it's quite far out. So I wish I could have actually been able to project those pictures to you. And even if we were trying to do so from here, there are too many people in the middle of that, so that's going to sort of obstruct our view. But nonetheless, the point is that those pictures are going to be coming in. There's not a loop right now, so that screen has gone off right now. So we're obviously expecting more pictures to come through, and the moment they do, we're going to try and pan the camera in that direction.
Meeting has now officially begun between Prime Minister Modi and President Xi Jinping. The moment those pictures come, we will be broadcasting it to you. This is the first meeting on Chinese soil since 2018. The last time the Prime Minister traveled to China was for the BRICS Summit in 2018. They also met in Kazan last year on the sidelines of the BRICS Summit there, which is where they agreed to the first step, which was the disengagement after the bloody clashes that happened 5 years ago in Galwan. Siddhant is also joining us. Siddhant, what are you picking up by way of your MEA sources? How soon will we get the first pictures of this meeting? And any word you're picking up on, whether it's 40 minutes long, 20 minutes long, and what can you possibly discuss in half an hour or so, given the gamut of issues between Beijing and Delhi?
Well, that's right, Zaka. So what I have been told is that this meeting is going to last for about 40 minutes, Zaka. And as you rightly said, this is the first time both leaders are meeting on the Chinese soil. And there are a lot to discuss, and in fact, last time when both leaders met in Kazan, perhaps that was kind of a restart of India-China ties, after which there have been a couple of high-level visits from both the sides, and now again both leaders are meeting. So as you rightly said, the focus is going to be on the boundary issue. In fact, there have been lot of agreements, on which both sides have agreed during the last special representative level talks. Zaka also, as you rightly said, that there were 3 Ds which were decided in Kazan. The first is disengagement, the second is de-escalation and de-induction. So disengagement has happened. The second step, de-escalation and de-induction, the focus is going to be on that. Then the 2 MOUs, Zaka, the hydrological data sharing MOU between China and India, both the MOUs have expired. This is perhaps something with which Indian government informed the parliament during the last session. So perhaps discussion could take place on that as well, because India will definitely be looking forward to be signing those agreements, those MOUs again with China.
Let's go back to Rahul. So the border is obviously the front and center issue, no doubt about it. We'll all be keenly watching, Rahul, whether the next 2 steps, which is de-escalation and de-induction, happen, because I've been saying this all morning that you can't have 50,000 troops on either side staring down each other. But there are other agreements that can be reached as well. Just in the last 6 months, they've agreed to resume direct flights, tourist visas. The Mansarovar Yatra has been resumed. What next can be done to move in that road of normalization between Delhi and Beijing, Rahul?
Well, I suppose when these 2 leaders meet, they're going to try and actualize some of those commitments. So we don't still have a time frame on when the direct flights are going to be resumed. There is a lot of talk that it might actually be kick-started by the end of the year, but that date could be brought forward. Look, if it's going to be about optics, they have to suggest that this meeting was meaningful in some way. There has also been, of course, talk about sharing rare earth materials, rare earth metals with India. There's also been talk about reinstating trade ties to the place they were earlier. Remember, India had sort of imposed restrictions on Chinese investments. That's going to be sort of lifted, not in the form of caps, but at least the screening that we had sort of decided to conduct. There's also talk that some of the apps that might have been banned and other applications in the IT side of things might be re-looked at. But that will all depend on how much China is willing to commit to Indian needs also. Remember, critical earth, rare earth materials, the Chinese have withheld. They've also withheld important personal and technical assistance. They've also withheld tunnel boring machines, which have set us back in some of our key projects. So if the Chinese commit to doing that very quickly and they set a timeline, then the Indians will obviously take a proactive view and try to meet the Chinese expectations on that front. But yes, it is in those areas, specifically renewing people-to-people contacts, that we're expecting timelines to be set, and that's really the expectation. But beyond that, whether it comes to the de-induction of troops, etc., I think those are not low-hanging fruits. Those are slightly long-term, and will depend really on trust levels and whether they are replenished to the level that both sides feel confident that they can vacate those border areas without compromising their
Major Jolly is also here with
interests.
us. When Wang Yi was here just last week, one of the things that they agreed to was an early harvest to the boundary question. And we've been talking about this for a number of years. The Chinese position has been, look, there are problems in the eastern sector, there are problems in the western sector. Why don't you deal with the low-hanging fruit, those areas where both sides have agreed, where the LAC passes through, and thereby at least announce in part some of those areas have been sort of resolved between India and China. You think that's possible, Major?
Yeah, sure. Oh, sorry, I didn't realize you asking. Yeah, of course. I mean, although there have been so many, flashpoints, if I'd like to, and the quick word that everyone likes to use is salami slicing, where the escalation